goddess of war and wisdom. Does it please you, I wonder, to watch your city?
Και διελθύνεν ταύτα.
Cassandra, it's you!
Phoebe!
You promised we'd see each other again, and now we have.
I also said, stay out of trouble.
Which I have. Okay, almost out of trouble.
How did you even get here, Phoebe?
Well, I did make some drachmi working for Marcos.
So you paid someone to bring you to Athens?
Not exactly.
Phoebe...
I needed a drachmi for when I arrived. I couldn't use it all to leave, and I didn't want to wait any longer. So I sneaked on a ship. Don't worry, nobody saw.
I just can't believe you made it.
I don't remember much of Athens from when I was a baby. But every once in a while, something feels familiar. It's nice.
I can't believe you're here.
Me either. I can't believe we both made it to Athens. It's so much different from Kefalonia.
But what are you doing here?
I'm here to get you ready. I have to make sure you leave all your weapons and change into these clothes.
So you somehow work here? For Perikles?
No, for Aspasia.
I don't understand why I have to change.
It's just what you do here. I felt weird at first, but you forget about it pretty fast.
And my weapons?
Don't worry, I'll take care of them. You don't want to scare people in there.
Well... How is it you're working for Aspasia?
Well, I did get into a little bit of trouble after I got to Athens. I may have been a leader of a small group of orphans that tried to cheat Aspasia. We didn't know it was her, though.
And you convinced her to hire you?
No, she asked me on her own.
That was lucky. I think I'm ready to go in.
You can't. Not like that, anyway. The Athenians like it best when you try to fit in. But don't worry, I have just the outfit for you.
I'll get changed. Promise you'll take care of my things?
Yep. Leave your weapons in the corner, and I'll come back when you're done.
I feel uncomfortable in this.
Now you look like everyone else.
You say that like it's a good thing.
It is. If you want them to take you seriously, this is the easiest way. Trust me.
Is that everything?
You're all ready to go in. Don't worry. You've done scarier things than this.
I'm struggling to think of any right now. Are you sure I can't keep just one weapon with me?
No weapons. Now hurry and go in. Oh, and don't leave without saying bye. You just got here. You can't leave already.
Here, Cassandra. The mighty mercenary and traveler has finally made her grand entrance. Only slightly late, too.
Herodotos! Athenians have no problem letting me know when I'm not welcome. It's a relief to see your friendly face.
Don't let the company here tonight intimidate you.
I won't.
Perikles is no king. He needs these guests to love him so that the people love him. And they, in turn, need Perikles. You're no different from any of them.
Do you really think these people will help me?
They will if you get them to trust you. And you've wisely dressed for the occasion. Appearing trustworthy is the most important part of being trusted, after all. Now then, come, let me introduce you to everyone. They may not look it, but this group holds the way to the future on the tip of their opinionated tongues. Ah, Sophocles and Euripides, for example. Two of the most celebrated playwrights to date. No one can throw stones as far as they can. They appear to be locked in some kind of intellectual struggle, as is their way.
He's a writer of comedies, of all things. Comedies, Euripides.
I've heard of Sophocles. In my line of work, it pays to know who the richest and most famous men are.
Hermippos has also written his fair share of comedies.
You should drink more.
Lately, his attitudes have garnered him more notice than his works. However, the fellow beside him, Protagoras, is a sophist worthy of as much praise as the great Socrates himself.
Inviting Socrates seems like a good way to ruin everyone's night. I'm surprised they would let him in the door.
Oh, don't let Socrates get under your skin. At least he wore shoes for the occasion. And the poor thing gesticulating like an ape is Thrasymachos. If you listen closely, you'll notice he and Socrates are actually arguing the same points. But the wind from his wild gestures deafens him to critique.
That isn't at all what I mean.
Where is Perikles?
Oh, he never attends his own parties. Which reminds me, there's something I need to get his help with.
Vile Socrates, always appearing where I least expect him. Warrior, protect me from his amorous gaze. Oh, Alcibiades, this is not a time for jealousy, but for love.
Let's not use Alcibiades as an example. Be good, and don't drink too much. So, tell me, what does a Mystios like you think of a party like this?
This party could be fun. Alcibiades drinks like a Spartan. Maybe he fights like one too.
If I could suggest anything, please don't start a fight, or end one.
Thank you, Herodotus.
Now, if you'll excuse me, Perikles is here somewhere, and I need to prepare him. If he's alone, I'll tell him what your brother said.
Agreed. Perikles needs to know. I'll stay here and look for clues.
I hope they know something about your mother.
Me too.
Of course, I only use the terms war or God or civility in the context of what can be observed. So I can observe soldiers fighting, but does that bring me any closer to understanding war?
I haven't seen you around before, citizen. Perhaps you'd like to spare me conversing with this man of nonsense?
Sure, we can talk. What about?
Before Protagoras changed the subject, we were talking about the next great leader of Athens, Cleon.
I saw Cleon speaking at the Pnyx. He's a real man of the people.
So, you have a taste for politics. That's certainly better than most of the elitist blowhards in this house.
I take it you and Perikles aren't friends.
Hardly. Hermipos led the Tsars to have Aspasia ostracized and to see Perikles stripped of power. Not that it worked.
Yet, Perikles is the past. He's more worried about losing a few precious statues than he is fighting and winning the war. Cleon will rule this city and return it to greatness. Mark my words.
I'm looking for clues to help me find a woman. She was Spartan.
Looking and finding are quite different things, wouldn't you say? I could observe a priest offering sacrifice to the gods, but does that mean, in so doing, that I have myself found God? Or...
Oh, forget it. If you're an ally of Cleon, why would Pericles invite you?
You're not from Athens, outsider. Here, we keep our enemies closest of all.
Why isn't Aspasia here?
Can you be certain she isn't? To observe her presence is still no guarantee that she is here.
In my opinion, it's just like her to cower in the shadows while we stand out here in the light.
This has been useless. Here.
You're back.
This has been useless. Here.
And so it isn't the rich and powerful, but the gods who are the source of justice?
What? No! Have you been listening to nothing I say?
Thank you for your help, my friend. Thank you for your help, my friend.
Yes, you come and talk to this infuriating air-blooder. I've had my fill.
Perhaps later. First, explain to me your point again.
A new face in Perikles' abode! Ha! That in itself is a remarkable thing. You must have seen me doing my impression of Cleon. I call it the Orange Ape. Tell me, what does it think?
Did you just call me it? Watch your mouth, Athenian.
It speaks, and so feisty too. Sometimes I wonder if I'm doomed to be the only young and beautiful thing here. So, what do they call you?
Cassandra.
I wouldn't peg you as a Cassandra, but never mind. I'm Aristophanes, and this man is Euripides. Oh, go on. Introduce yourself.
I'm Euripides.
For a playwright, you're not much for words.
Good men lead quiet lives, as old Euripides likes to say. Don't you, Euripides? Now, if you'll excuse us, I was just about to dazzle this old dog with my impression of Perikles. I call it the wooden board.
The man is your host.
Under every stone hides a politician, I always say. And Perikles is no different.
Someone's being hurt. Open this door or I'll kick it in!
Don't mind her. She likes to watch. Look at you. Such authority. Such aggression. I can see why Perikles has taken such an interest in you. Did you come to join us?
It sounded like someone was in pain.
Well, it can sometimes be hard to distinguish between sounds of pleasure and pain. Had I known you were going to knock, I would have left my door wide open for you.
I only came to this symposium to find someone.
Sounds like we can help each other then, doesn't it? You fetch us a bit of oil, I help you find who you're looking for. Maybe they're in here.
She's not in there.
I think I'll check all the same.
After your display earlier, it's probably safer I get the oil.
Obedient, too. I knew I liked you. Don't take too long. If you don't get the oil soon, all our fun will end. Just can't stay away, can you? Did you bring the oil?
You've grown up in Perikles' home, and yet you're so different.
No one is like Perikles. And he's only slightly more serious than usual, too. Athens is under siege, and he worries for her future. Which is why tonight is a fine time to celebrate what may be our last taste of freedom.
When you walked in, you seemed like you and Socrates were...
How I wish you were right. One day we will have that man in here with us. I promise you that.
I might be back.
If you come back with a jar of oil, I promise to show you how grateful I am.
I suppose you've come in here to mock me for my fight with Euripides.
Spare me. I'm only looking for clues to help me find a Spartan woman.
A Spartan woman in Athens. Sounds intriguing. Though, if you expect me to notice someone other than myself, you expect too much. You could talk to Euripides. He's the second most worldly man here. That Perikles, Xanthodontus, exophthalmic Morosov. But he doesn't talk without a drink.
I have no idea what that meant.
No, you don't.
So we get him drunk and he talks. He sounds more Argive than Athenian.
Impressive, foreigner.
Euripides is from Argos.
All right. If nothing else, this party could use the help.
You'll need to pick the right wine for this task. The kitchen should have what you need. Let me know when Euripides is done in, and I'll slip away unseen.
How do you know Perikles?
I believe you mean to ask me, how does Perikles know you? I'm the greatest dramatist in the land, mentor to Euripides, lover of Asclepios, father of theater, and so on, and so on.
I'm sure it's a real honor to have you hiding in his kitchen. You're awfully worked up over Euripides. You sure you're just friends?
I'm never just anything, foreigner. Though I confess, Euripides and I hold a bond deeper than brotherhood. Why he slams it with a banal young plaything, Aristophanes, I will never know.
I'll get the wine.
Wonderful. Now, if you want some friendly advice, Aristophanes cannot stand sweet wine. I've seen what it can do to him. Absolutely, horrifyingly delightful.
It wouldn't be a party without someone losing their stomach. I'll let you know if your plan worked.
Save for that arrogant playwright. I don't see many distinguished guests in here. Can I help you with something?
I'm here for your sweet wine.
Yes, take it. But get out of my kitchen. I'm very busy, you know.
How's Euripides? Drunk, I hope.
I'll get the wine.
Wonderful. Now, if you want some friendly advice, Aristophanes cannot stand sweet wine. I've seen what it can do to him. Absolutely, horrifyingly delightful.
It wouldn't be a party without someone losing their stomach. I'll let you know if your plan worked.
It's come back for more. Care to see my impression of Protagoras? I call it the flapping bladder.
I'm sure she wouldn't.
When I need to relax, I start a fight. For you, though.
Quickly, bring him some wine so that he might say something clever.
After my argument with Sophocles, I think I'd rather keep my head clear.
I'm only here because I'm searching for someone.
And yet it gave us the distinct impression it was here to fill our wine. Let's focus on that first, shall we?
I'm Perikles' new servant. I'd be happy to bring some wine.
An Athenian servant, you. And these are wine-pouring muscles.
I was a rower on Perikles' ship where he took pity on me. Now I pour wine for people who question my word. And his.
I wasn't questioning. Perhaps one drink.
Why don't you just apologize to Sophocles?
It's he who should apologize to you.
Sophocles is a friend, and one good friend is worth an entire family. He just needs time to recover from his outburst.
Perikles has invited all of you here for some reason.
Either we dine here and praise Perikles, or we dine with Cleon. But Cleon has all the charm of a typical politician. A horrible voice, bad breeding, and vulgar manners.
Let's conjure Dionysos, shall we?
This is pure swill.
Amateur. In my day, this would be considered nectar of the gods. Another round!
Ready for more?
I can hardly stomach this pig's piss.
I could outdrink both of you with one hand. Let's have some more!
You ready for another?
This wine is terrible.
I like you. Who brought you here?
I brought myself. I'm on the trail of a woman who fled Sparta a long time ago.
Fled? Why?
She lost 2 children. She had no choice.
She fled to heal a broken heart. Euripides, write her into a play.
I've heard Spartan mothers go to a sanctuary in Argolis to beg Asclepios for his divine pity. I should know, it's my home.
After what she went through, I'm not sure she'd trust priests.
Oh, then she sought my friend, Hippocrates. He's a physician, best of the best. He still keeps his office in Argos. If she went to him for help, there's no doubt he'd have given it.
I love getting drunk and singing. Come back if you want to sing with me.
I'll think about it. Hippocrates in Argos. Here I come.
How's Euripides? Drunk, I hope.
You can stop hiding in here. Euripides won't notice you coming out. He won't notice anything.
Hiding? Heed this. War has come to Athens. First they take our homes, then they take our heads. I intend to be found with at least my dignity intact. Or what's left of it anyway. If you see Perikles, tell him I said thank you for another colorful evening.
Just can't stay away, can you? Did you bring the oil?
I come bearing gifts.
We're saved! Today, these women grieved for their sons, and these men worked the wall. But tonight, we forget all of that. Let's have some fun! What do you say? Care to join us?
Time for some fun. You'll have to help me strip off these uncomfortable Athenian robes.
Gladly. If you like, we can feed them to the goat.
There's another goat?
Ooh.
Now, it's time for you to help me, Ali. I'm looking for someone.
All business right until the end. I like that.
Focus. I'm looking for a woman who fled Sparta a long, long time ago.
Fled Sparta? No one flees Sparta. But let's pretend she did. If she were stupid, she'd be dead. If she were smart, she'd do what Aspasia did. She'd earn her independence. The smartest and most resourceful women I've ever met have been in Corinthia.
Theatera? I've heard they play some sort of role in Corinth, but I assumed it was the same as any other city.
Oh, no. These women are unlike any other you'll meet. A force, and the only ones there with any smarts.
Ali! Come back inside!
Ooh, the celebration continues. When you reach Corinth, find Anthusa. No one goes in or out of the city without her knowing. Until we meet again, warrior.
Anthusa in Corinth. It's not much, but it's a start.
Ah, if it isn't the one who agrees that knowledge is most important.
I think we agree. Our use of that knowledge couldn't be more different.
Ah, you remember. Perhaps our conversation can continue.
You really intend to use this young destruction to avoid the point being argued?
You have been arguing a single point all night and no one has a black eye? You have my attention.
We're discussing the nature of rules. Where better to do so than here? I'll ask you the same question I asked Thrasymachos. Would you agree that the act of ruling is an art?
It is an art, as all worthy undertakings are. That is not up for argument.
Yet, medicine is for the betterment of the patient, and not the physician. Carpentry improves the building, not the builder. Then, is the art of ruling not for the betterment of the ruled rather than the ruler?
Don't be absurd!
I've seen enough of the world to know that there are no just rulers. Even Perikles is self-serving.
Is a Spartan general who brings order to his troops, thereby saving his own life, self-serving? I'm not sure that's the case.
Ruling a city and fighting in battle are different things.
By practicing the art of war, doesn't the general guarantee some of his troops a ferry ride to Hades, when a swift retreat would save all their lives?
I've already had conversations like this with you, Socrates. I'm not in the mood to spend the rest of my night standing here.
I'd never ask you to do such a thing. You said plenty, and I feel I know you even better now.
Go while you still can. Perhaps you've loosened his ears to my point. Aspasia.
I couldn't help but notice your talent for debate. Well done.
Socrates is an interesting character.
Ah, Phoebe. Perikles has retired to the balcony already, has he? His ability to sneak off and sulk is second to none.
I can go get him, and Cassandra can help. Everyone listens when she talks.
That'll be fine. Run along. Cassandra will be right behind you. Now, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Aspasia. I had to go to great lengths to cover up your work in Megaris.
Your spies have been watching me. I knew you people couldn't be trusted.
We do what we must to survive, and there's no shame in that. It's how you got here, how I got here. The clothes, they fit you well, I trust.
I'd be more comfortable in these clothes if I had a blade in my hand.
You never really get used to them. It seems we have the attention of the entire room without a single eye being fixed on us. If you'd like to talk, do it now, and do it discreetly.
I'm searching for a woman who fled Sparta with her child years ago. I was hoping you might help.
What clues do you have to her whereabouts?
A physician named Hippocrates may have seen her in Argos.
He's a good man. If you find a woman named Agathi there, do let her know Aspasia sends her regards. What else?
Alcibiades gave me the name of a woman in Corinth.
I'm sure he did. My dear friend, Anthusa, is the only one I know who's enjoyed a life in Corinth through legitimate means. Mostly legitimate, anyway.
That's all I have.
There is another option. In a former life, when I needed something done or someone found, I contacted a friend. An admiral of a sort.
What's his name?
Her name is Xenia. When we last spoke, she was in chaos. A word of caution. When you go to her, be on your guard. Sea life makes a monster out of most people.
Thank you, Aspasia.
When you're done, return here. Together, we will find who you're looking for. Now do me a favor and get Perikles to come down here and greet his guests.
You're back.
I'm looking for clues to help me find a woman. She was Spartan.
Looking and finding are quite different things, wouldn't you say? I could observe a priest offering sacrifice to the gods, but does that mean, in so doing, that I have myself found God? Or...
Oh, forget it. This has been useless. Here.
I'll help you however I can during your travels.
Cassandra!
I didn't send for you. No matter how you've dressed for my party, Phoebe shouldn't have let you in.
Phoebe did nothing wrong. Aspasia asked her to let me in.
Of course she did. I can't say I'm thrilled about going down and speaking to everyone. Technically, you're a guest. If you join Herodotus and me, that should be enough for her, don't you think?
You really don't want to go downstairs, do you?
When your days are spent speaking in front of crowds, you begin to crave these moments of silence.
Or as silent as I let it be, at least.
Phidias was awaiting trial, but you had me get him out of Athens. I figured you, of all people, would want to follow the law.
Phidias is a very dear friend. I didn't want to risk him being found guilty. And of course, there were other threats.
So you knew?
I know he's delusional, but one day when you have a friend you'd do anything for, you'll understand.
I don't understand why you had Anaxagoras ostracized. Socrates said he was your friend.
I won't risk the lives of those close to me if there's something I can do about it.
So you did this to protect him?
Anaxagoras understood my fears. 10 years may be a long time, but at least he'll be safe.
Why send Antiochos to the fishing district if it's dangerous?
I would never have sent him into danger willingly.
It seems you have many loyal friends.
My people are important to me.
Your life is in danger.
Yes, Herodotus was saying. This cult doesn't worry me.
I have my life threatened by far worse people every day. My true concern is Athens. I fear for her future.
Spartans outside the walls, people crammed inside. I don't envy you.
Even so, there isn't another city I'd rather live in.
I can't say I know how that feels.
When you find your place, you'll know it.
Aspasia sent me to see what's taking you so long.
Tell Aspasia I'll be right there. I suppose this is where our conversation ends. Thank you again for helping me. I hope my guests are able to help you in your search.
Time will tell.
Τύχει να αγαθήν λακτήσεις. Νήπιον σιή.
Μου δίνα με πιστεύεις τούτο.
I'll help you however I can during your travels.
You look tired.
Only of conversation. I think that's the most talking I've ever done.
See? You didn't need the weapon after all. Are you leaving?
I'm not done with these people yet.
You look tired.
Only of conversation. I think that's the most talking I've ever done.
See? You didn't need the weapon after all. Are you leaving?
I've had enough Athenian hospitality to last me a lifetime.
You'll get used to it. It's nice. What are you going to do now?
There is a woman in Corinth I'd like to talk to.
I've heard about that place from Alcibiades. He says you don't go there to talk.
Alcibiades says a lot of things.
He sure does. Before you go, I heard something from Aspasia. About Kefalonia.
What is it?
She said there was some sort of plague. You don't think... My friend, the blood fever.
Don't think like that. Whatever happened on Kefalonia isn't our fault. I'll go myself and find out if this plague even happened, okay?
Okay. Thanks. I knew I could count on you.
Not going to beg to come along this time?
Nope. I'm happy here. And this isn't Kefalonia. That means you'll be back.
That's very true.
Plus, I really like working for Aspasia. She says she has a mission for me.
I'll see you soon, Phoebe.
Bye, Cassandra!
Aphrodite, Artemis, Athena, mothers and daughters of Olympus, please, lead us to safety. We can't lose anyone else.
I'm none of those, but I am Cassandra Amistios. What's wrong?
My people are in grave danger. We lost our leaders and our warriors, and now our hunters have disappeared.
Hunting parties can be gone for weeks before returning. What happened to everyone else?
War. The fight between Athens and Sparta has reached our borders, so the men left to offer their swords. I fear that those remaining will be lost to the sons of Xerxes.
I haven't heard of the sons of Xerxes. That's quite the name.
Persians left over from the Battle of Thermopylae. They have no nation except the heritage of an ancient king, but their numbers are great, and ours are not.
I would not trade our roles in this situation, though killing is my specialty and I can hunt and track.
Do you deal in advice? I don't know how to address my people. They know something is wrong, and I'm not sure what to do about it.
There is no easy answer. If you were to take it one step at a time, how would you start?
I can't bring back the men, or stop the sons of Xerxes by myself. I know it's a lot to ask, but can you bring them home? Even if it's just bones, we'll need to honor them.
I'll look for the missing hunters.
My cousin Agnodiki volunteered to look for them. She hasn't returned either.
What was that? What? Ah! Ah! Oh, what now?
Those bastards! Those bastards!
Are you all right?
Do I look all right?
You survived. It's more than we can say for your companions.
That was our warning. First our hunters, then the rest of the village. I need to warn our magistrate about the son of Xerxes and their plans.
And I need to see her about my payment.
You've returned. What news of Agnodiki and the hunters?
Magistrate Perikles, I have grave news. The sons of Xerxes are preparing to strike. Oh, it's you. Magistrate, this Mistio saved me from certain death.
For double the reward, I hope.
Finally, someone around here who knows how to use a sword. I've been trying to convince Peri to build our defenses since we first saw the sons of Xerxes creeping closer to the village.
This is my sister, Thea. She considers herself to be acting general of Lalea in the man's absence.
It was your husband who shielded us before. Someone must do so now! Did you hear anything Agnodiki said? If we wait on the gods for help, we will be massacred.
The only language the sons of Xerxes seem to understand is violence.
Misthios, what if I hired you to protect the village?
I'll do what I can.
Good. Meet me at Kiphisos Spring. I have plans for those sons of Xerxes. Good to see your face again.
Yours too.
Lalea is the daughter of Kiphisos, god of this spring. It's said that she lives in these pools.
Thea, right? Perikles told me you've been acting as general. Though from what I saw earlier, you and your sister don't see eye to eye.
Peri would die folded in prayer before she asked for my advice.
Sometimes we want a comforting voice that says everything will be okay. rather than to be confronted with harsh reality.
And now we are on the knife's edge, waiting for the slaughter, and we have done nothing. I must prepare myself to fight, and hopefully the others too. Can you teach me?
Your sister says you act like a general. Let's see if you fight like one.
I'm ready. Fight me! I told you not to go easy on me. You hit hard! Well, that was humbling.
The sons of Xerxes won't be as kind.
No, it's a good wake-up call. One I wish Peri could have. But Big Sister always knows best.
Sounds like she's always given you a hard time.
You could say that. Acting like the hero while I do the dirty work.
Now you're the hero.
One can only hope to live up to that title. I've been playing soldier too long, and now I'm stuck in the role of Perseus while feeling like Andromeda.
I seem to recall the legend saying that Andromeda was nude and tied to a rock.
Was she? I'll have to remember that the next time I'm reenacting the myth. Lalea has a rich heritage for theater, though not so much for fighting.
Spartan women are taught to keep up with Spartan men. Lalea seems different.
It is an oversight that I've been pushing to correct. When the men leave for war, our defenses are limited to a few hunters too valuable to leave. Or young men who can barely hold a spear.
And now that the hunters are dead...
we're more exposed to attacks from the sons of Xerxes than ever.
I've seen kings and commanders. You share their temperament.
Peri married the governor. I am unwed. Spinsters do not become leaders. We exist on the fringes.
We should get back to the task at hand. There's still a lot to do.
You're right, but it's hard to know where to start. I need to train the others for war, but we are without weapons and armor. No blacksmith. But his daughter is still here.
What about the hunters you lost?
We need to train replacements. There's also a camp close by. Likely the daughters of Artemis. They are not a friendly bunch, so we've been doing our best to avoid them.
Not sure how useful I'll be to the blacksmith's daughter.
Methiadusa mentioned needing some materials before she can get started. And between you and me, she needs a little push. She's been helping her father at the forge since she could walk, but she still doubts her own abilities.
Who should I train to hunt?
I've met with some volunteers from the village. They've got a little experience, but need to have their bow arms straightened. You can find them on the edge of Lalea.
I'll get to it.
Tell me to make the weapons, but many of them ask... Oh! Who are you?
Mercenary hired by the village magistrate.
Oh! That explains why I don't know you. I'm Methiadusa. Please don't tell me you need new weapons or armor.
I don't, but the rest of the village does.
Oh, that's worse.
I thought you were the village blacksmith. Why are you so reluctant?
I'm not the village blacksmith. My father is, and my brother is his apprentice. I just fetch wood when they need it. Now they all expect me to arm the village.
Are you the only member of your family left?
I'll know when the men return from war. Mater left with the ferryman last year.
Is there any way I can help?
I think Pater left the molds and tools nearby, but I need ore, and even then I might make something utterly useless.
You look capable enough to me.
There's a difference between knowing how to do something with your mind and knowing how to do it with your hands.
Fair enough. What kind of ore do you need?
Any kind of ore will technically do, but...
But?
My pater used the legendary ore when making a dagger for my mater. It is called Aphrodite's ore. Sounds strange, but it's true.
How did the ore get its name?
The legend says Hephaestus, god of the forge, found this ore and used it to make a helmet for his wife, Aphrodite. She loved it for its color. Because of that, the ore works in the hands of any smith.
Where can I find the ore?
It's hard to reach. It's down the cliffs at the Persian remnants in a secret cave, just above the water.
Sounds like you've been there before.
I told you, I wasn't the smith. I was there to fetch what Pater needed. I'd go myself, but I need to hit up the kiln.
I'll bring back Aphrodite's ore. This is the whole hunting party?
We're all Aleia has to spare since the sons of Xerxes killed our husbands and sons. You must be the Mystios Perikles hired.
I am.
We may not be the big brutes you're used to, but we're versed in killing well enough.
Well, we know how to fish.
That's a start.
We're ready. Do you have everything you need?
Yes. Get your bows and we'll go. Tell me about Lalea.
We've been blessed by both the waters of Hephaestus and by Aphrodite herself. For she is the source of all beauty.
All settlements need to be near water. Ours just has a lot.
And you fish in the pools and river?
Hephaestus provides us with what we need.
Not enough in there to provide for all of Lalea. That's why we need you.
With the sons of Xerxes so close, is there less game around?
We've been relying more on fish and fruit. It's enough for now.
Animals don't scream and beg for mercy the way humans do. I doubt they interest the sons of Xerxes as
There's
much.
still food. Perhaps their numbers aren't as high as we think.
They may not have enough archers to black out the sun with arrows, but they do have enough to fill every citizen of Lalea with holes.
With your ear, keeping your arm straight and relaxed. Your arrow needs to be just below your eye. Then exhale and release. Try to aim for the eye, so that you don't damage the rest of the meat. When fighting bears, keep an eye out for when it gets angry. Then you need to run the other way.
Thank you, Mistios. I've learned much from the bow. Aphrodite may provide, but Artemis acts.
Lalea is such a beautiful place. I'm glad I can do my part to take care of it. Thank you.
That should be enough to get you through the week, but there's still much to be done for Lalea.
Hey! That's not safe!
Persians were insane to try to climb these cliffs. That must be the cave. I can see why this ore is named for Aphrodite. found the ore.
Amazing. I'll ready the molds.
Will that be enough for the village?
It should be a good start. Oh, that reminds me. I have a problem.
You and the rest of Lalea.
I'm just one smith, and I can divide my time between making weapons and armor, but it will slow down the process. It would be faster if I just worked on one. Which should I focus on? Weapons or armor?
We can't kill bandits without weapons. We'll just have to hope their archers have poor aim.
Yes, you're right. Your confidence gives me hope. Thank you for your help.
I've done all I can for these women. Time to get back to Perikles.
Perry! Eagle bearer. Good. You can talk some sense into my sister.
I've just spoken with the hunting party. They recovered new enemy arrows near the boundaries of the village.
Scouts. Likely sent ahead to find weaknesses in Lalea's defenses, of which there are many.
That's what I've been telling Perry! We need to kill those scouts. Even if we do defeat the lion's share of the Sons in battle, the scouts will cut our throats as we sleep.
If everyone dies in battle, there will be no village left to defend. Agnodiki spoke of enemy weapons caches. If we destroy those, we'll cut the legs off our foes.
What did Agnodiki find?
She overheard the sons of Xerxes discussing supplies they stole from a nearby fortress and returned to their camp.
Why are these scouts such a threat?
What if we're away in battle and the scouts return to kill those we've left behind?
We need to deal with this now.
Which do we focus on? The scouts or the cast?
I'll take care of the scouts. The last thing we need is an ambush.
If you've chosen wrong, we'll be exposed with nothing to show for it. But if you must go, go now. Are you ready?
I'll see you when it's done.
What is it that Spartans say about shields? With them or on them?
May the gods guide your path and the arc of your sword. Destroying the gases is strategic. Wandering through the woods looking for scouts is a waste of time.
Try to find cover! No! Don't get caught off guard! Scum!
That's all of them. Better get back to Lalea. I hunted them to the last.
I'll sleep easier knowing that.
I still worry about them overcoming our numbers in battle. But thank you. This will change our fate.
How prepared are we?
We're under attack. Thea and her warriors are holding them off, but we need reinforcements.
As prepared as we're going to be. Go. I'll stay with those who can't fight.
This way! They've got us pinned against the rocks.
I can't believe we did it. But... cost.
Here. This is war.
We killed them. How? All I remember was swinging until my arms hurt, then swinging more. If you hadn't killed those scouts, I might have died of them.
I'm glad it's over.
I may not be a champion of the gods, but it'll take more than a few wounds to fell me. Let's return to Lalea.
Get it out!
Over there.
Thea, I'm here. It's okay.
It's over. We beat them back. All that's left to do
You
is burn
protected
the
my
bodies.
sister and my village. And for that, I'm eternally grateful.
We protected each other.
I don't know how we can ever repay you.
I can think of a few ways I can repay you.
Really? You're having this discussion here? In front of your sister and the whole town?
Later, then.
Gratitude, Misthios. Here is the drachmi as promised. You will always be welcome in Lalea.
My grandfather died not too far from here. I'm glad he defended this place from the Persians.
Cassandra, if you could come see me before you leave, I'll be by the waterfall.
And now the work of rebuilding begins.
It's good to see all this beauty at peace once again.
And for years to come, thanks to you.
I can't promise you peace.
But you did give us the tools to preserve it.
So, what kind of reward did you have in mind?
My first thoughts were of getting you out of those clothes.
If that's the first thought, I can't wait to see how the second and third thoughts go.
Oh, there won't be much thinking. But there will be seconds and thirds.
What will you do now?
With everything taken care of, I'm free to do what I want. A list that includes spending more time with you.
Come with me, then. I could always use someone who can think and use a sword.
You only want me around for my brains and my brawn.
Would you prefer I said I wanted you to keep my bed warm?
I've lived here my whole life. To leave it, well, that would be an adventure.